Hi, and welcome to another edition of Jules Voto's Photo Focus. Right now, I'm on a Royal Caribbean cruise ship, Vision of the Seas, on a vacation to the Caribbean in Florida. And I thought I'd make a video on travel photography, actually on my new favorite travel photography kit. For years before going mirrorless, I shot with DSLRs. And between the cameras and the lenses, it was a much heavier kit. More recently, over the past few years, I've gone mirrorless. Previous to this cruise, I was using my 24-70 2.8 and taking two bodies, the Z6 and Z7. And also I would take a 200mm f4 AI manual focus lens. But for this cruise, I've come up with a new kit which I think is ideal. The 24-200 F4-6.3 Z mount. I also took the 40mm f2 Z mount. And even though it won't be used that much, the 14-30 f4 Z mount. Also I've taken two bodies, the Z8 and my Z6. I sold the Z7 to buy the Z8, but even though it is a little heavier, weighs almost as much as my D810, I think it's just a great camera for this type of photography. So we're going to see some pictures. We're actually on our way back now as I'm recording this. And when I get back, I'll put up the pictures and you'll be able to see the results. Now, weight is a major consideration when traveling. And that's why I love this 24-200. It gives me that great range, and it only weighs 20 ounces or 570 grams. So if I go out for a walk in the morning or just walking around the ship, it's very easy just to carry the one camera with that lens. And I don't have to worry about changing lenses because of that great range. In the past, I would be using the 24-70 and then would have to change to the 200. So here's an example. This was shot at the wider end of the range of these kids climbing up the rock wall at the back of the ship. And then I was able to zoom in, I think it was at almost 200, to grab this one kid up on the wall. Now, most of the pictures I shot during this vacation were with the Z8 and the 24-200. I had my Z6 with me for backup, and also to shoot some available light pictures with the 40mm f2 because it is better in low light situations than the Z8. Now this picture reminded me of the movie The Final Countdown, where the carrier Nimitz goes back in time to Pearl Harbor on December 7th, 1941. I don't know, it just kind of reminded me of a scene from that movie when they go into a storm and the ship then goes back in time. And skies like this, rainy weather, storms, make for different pictures. I really like shooting in that situation. This was one afternoon. You could see the sun trying to break through with that bright area on the water, and just love the clouds. So these next few pictures were taken early one morning before sunrise with the Z8, with the 24-200. And everything looks different in this type of light. And this woman was just looking out with her cup of coffee, waiting for sunrise. Now I have the 70-200 2.8 Z mount lens, and also the 24-70 2.8 Z mount. This 24-200 covers the same range as those two lenses. Those are better lenses. They're both 2.8s. They're sharper. However, together they weigh 76 ounces, whereas the 24-200 weighs 20 ounces. So it's a huge difference in weight. And that's why for travel, I like this lens. Those lenses I use professionally. when I need to, when I need the speed, when I need the absolute best image quality, but this lens I really love. Now, this was taken from the ship when we were docked at Port Canaveral, and this is approximately 10 miles from the ship. And with the naked eye, you saw a building. That's basically it. So I shot at 200, then cropped heavily. And this is the vehicle assembly building at the Kennedy Space Center. And this is the building where they assemble the rockets before transporting them to the launch pad for launch. This is the building where they assembled the 36-story high Saturn V rocket with the Apollo spacecraft on top that went to the moon. So it is a huge building, and I was very impressed with the sharpness of this lens to blow it up this much and still be able to make out the NASA logo and the US flag. You see the separation of the stripes. Now, one area where the Z6 is better than the Z8 is in low light, where although the focus on the Z8 is better in low light, the image quality on the Z6 is better because it's a 24 megapixel camera as opposed to a 45, and everything else being equal, a lower megapixel camera is going to give you less noise at high ISO. Now, on a ship, you get the opportunity to take pictures you normally wouldn't have the opportunity to take, such as this of South Beach as the ship was coming in to the cruise ship terminal in Miami. And I was able to get a variety of pictures. This is one with the 200 of all these boats. And it was just a really nice day. This was around 7:30, maybe 7:45 as we came in. And, you know, especially with this lens, it's a great opportunity to use it at 24, at 35, at all the focal lengths. I think I used almost the entire range out to 200. There's a bunch of cruise ships that leave from the port of Miami, and I think there were like 7 of them there that day. Very interesting building there in the middle. And the sky was nice. No polarizer was used. This was just the Z8 with the 24 to 200 apertures. I don't know, F8, F11. I try not to go beyond F11 because you do tend to get some diffraction. This was from a walk around South Beach. And then the ship left around 8 o'clock that night. Unfortunately, this was, about an hour and a half or so, 2 hours after sunset. And I like to shoot nighttime pictures right after sunset of skylines because you get that blueness in the sky. And here was another ship that was pulling out of the harbor. These were shot with the Z6 with the 40 millimeter lens. Here's the skyline of Miami at night. And, the great thing with mirrorless cameras or even DSLRs is the great low light capability, the great high ISO performance. And these were with the Z6. And also, of course, the image stabilization helps, especially when you're on a moving boat. This was the next morning coming into the Bahamas. Sunrise. Cliche pictures. Everybody shoots, but everybody shoots sunrise pictures, but I guess it's something you got to get. This was an old, looks like a lighthouse on the way into Nassau. Been there before, but never saw that one. This is an abandoned lighthouse that I photographed before on a trip to Nassau. Here's one area where I did use the 24 to 30 lens. Great lens for shots like this. These were with the Z6. And here we are arriving in Freeport. This was the last stop on the cruise. And this was a shot on the way home. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and ring that bell so you'll be alerted anytime I come out with a new video. I usually publish a new video every Wednesday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. So I will talk to you then.